Wait for it, everybody. Getting it going. Oh man, it's happening. And, okay, all right. Wait a minute. 5 seconds. There's a delay. And then 2, 1, and okay. That's right.
One more time.
All right, everybody. One more time. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. It's Greasy Conversation, you guys. It's Greasy Conversation, the talk show on RadioVegas.rocks. We're here with Justin Anderson, also known as Sojourner. Let's drag this mic up in your face. Oop, I got aggro there.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah.
And then we've got kicker headphones in the studio here. Justin, if you feel like putting your kickers on. They're aptly named, given that they've been accidentally kicked several times and have survived it, because sometimes they fall down. Yeah. Sometimes we discover things that have fallen down due to the kicking that we do as we travel around kicking. This bar on the mic is like the far side. Okay. So that side's aimed at you.
This should be plenty close.
That's too good. I think you need to put it somewhere worse. You sound too delicious.
Excellent.
All right. Now, also,
magically,
if you sound quieter or louder, if you sound quieter or softer in your headphones relative to us, then you can move your body accordingly.
Okay.
But we've got
okay, yeah, I can hear it.
Incredible news times to share with you. We've got a plethora of newsy doodles, and if you're interested yourself in clicking on any of these links that we get to click on to get to look at these news things ourselves, you can join along with us by just going to woz.lol, wz.lol. That's W-O-Z. I said that so quick. But also Greasy Conversation, it's the same place, that website. We've got a post for this episode, and the notes are there. And here we go. Now, before we dive, you've got a thing? Before we do it, Justin Anderson, you are so worth Googling and involved in like a bunch of really cool music stuff. So I just want to throw that out at the beginning. Like front load that's something worth investigating, that you yourself are super worth investigating.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah, but now it's time for the Submarine of Knowledge. Submarine of Knowledge.
Fucking echoes. All right, start off with a spicy one. Start off with a spicy one today, boys.
Spicy boys.
Yeah, but not those spicy boys. Japan, the Japanese government has approved research into human-animal embryos for the first time.
Like combo embryos?
Yeah, so it sounds like, when you first hear it, your mind goes to like...
Sounds like a risky Google search.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it definitely
those
sounds
Japanese
like
embryos.
Yeah, half animal, half... Yeah, I mean, depends how deep you want to dive, but, anyway. You think about, I don't know, people with gills or some shit or, whatever.
Finally.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, we've all been waiting. But really what they're doing is trying to, like, grow human organs inside of animals. Like from the very get-go.
Okay.
Oh, like
that
farming,
makes sense.
Yeah, like
so that
organ replacement.
Yeah, for organ donors and so you can reduce the wait times for that type of stuff. So well, it does sound pretty futuristic. I mean, it is. Growing like human organs inside of animals.
Well, it's probably not so different from whenever like severe burn victims, they'll grow like a hand, or they'll attach a hand,
graft it on.
Yeah, to
like grow a hand
on
off
their
of
leg or something to like keep the body part alive.
Yeah, or they like grow like you all see the pictures of like the mice with the ears on their backs. They grow like the cartilage for the ears. So
definitely some ethical or morally and ethical suspect things, but
yeah, and it is like but it is tough, but at the same time, like, it could be for the greater good, and like just like animal testing where sometimes it's necessary, even though it's like terrible. I mean, dubiously
moral.
Yeah, it's very borderline where it's like, does the end justify the means?
Yeah, some things that are known to do something good for a cell in a petri dish, and then it has a high probability that it'll cure an illness in an animal, that's a lot better than just seeing like, how does this destroy cells in an animal? That's not as cool.
Yeah, but also like with the point, like they're being raised, I mean they're being created with this specific purpose in mind. So it's not like we're going capturing animals and testing on them and stuff, you know. So it is like ethically complicated for sure, but
no more so than factory farming and
for sure. There's like a lot, could be a lot of benefit in this.
Yeah,
I can't wait till we have vat meat. I know we're not supposed to call it vat meat, but when we have meat that's actual muscle tissue grown without a brainstem or consciousness or anything, that'd
be amazing. Yeah, because I do feel like somewhat like I don't know. It seems a little unethical to eat meat, even though I do eat meat, but. And I can never really see myself getting past, like, my particular weakness with me is, like, California burritos. It would be, like, every time I eat one, I do think about the fact that, like, a cow was, like, it was brought in this world and then slaughtered. And you see those videos of people playing musical instruments in fields for cows, and they all gather around. Have you seen those?
Mm-hmm.
No, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, there's this great one where this guy was learning saxophone, and so he went out to a field to play for these cows, and the cows were like a much more captive audience than most of my audiences. And
transfixed.
Yeah, they were like just like watching and like amazed by the saxophone.
That's
and, like,
awesome.
Most of my audiences are a little distracted or
Yeah.
Speaking of that, you made a saxophone out of PVC pipe.
Oh yeah,
that was a major like news thing for a minute around here.
Yeah, and it went pretty viral, like especially like in Australia and the Philippines.
They liked it especially.
Yeah, and I sold the video to I made 2 videos. I sold the first one to Defy, which is apparently the leading. A lot of the viral videos you see, they're not necessarily like authentically just got shared a lot.
Might be curated by something like that.
And so the top 3 are respectively Defy, Storyful, and Viral Hog. So
I didn't know that. So those are ones that accept submissions.
Yeah, Defy,
and if they like it enough, they could.
Well, they actually reached out to me. Defy's based out of Los Angeles, so I went with them first since they were at the top of the industry. And I sold a video to them for like a little bit of money up front, and then the royalties ended up like 6 months later. I got a check for like it was like $300-400 that it generated, and they basically license it to different like news companies, like little blogs and stuff that want to use the video, and so like, it's all over the internet. And then I made another one, might as well double dip, and I made another one, sold it to Storyful, which is an Irish company.
Did you approach Storyful yourself?
No, several representatives from all 3 of them reached out to me, so I kind of like compared their rates and like drove up the split of the royalty and like the upfront costs.
That's awesome.
So
so when you say that, do you mean that you communicated with them about a little bit better offer than they initially offered you?
Yeah, and like I wasn't like all like hustly or like scummy. I was just like this company's offering this, and they're like, like a lot of like.
Can
for
you
instance,
match this?
Yeah, Storyful even mentioned they're like a lot of our primary clients are previous Defy or Viral, like so they're used to like that dynamic, like, but no, they were pretty easy to work with. After I sent the rights over to the video, they just did all the marketing, and I set some terms, like for instance link my music page and all this stuff, mention like where I'm from, so, and it resulted in like about 200 or so like on my Instagram, 200 or so new followers on my Instagram and Facebook. So
that's awesome.
So
just from that event.
Yeah. So yeah, like lots of random Filipino and Australians on my
hell yeah,
follow my music.
We got random traction from Bangladesh. Shout out, holla, Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Yo, because now a significant portion of especially on Facebook followers are over there, with a handful in Pakistan too.
Mm-hmm.
Holla, I see you too, Pakistan.
Well, that's interesting because of that whole war between them. So it's
yeah,
interesting that you appeal to both. Well, the languages are basically the same. Urdu is very similar to Bangla. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the writing system. So like Bangla, and of course there's like some like subtle differences, but Bangla is written in a more Sanskrit type script, and then Urdu is, which is the state language of Pakistan, is written in like more Arabic script.
But a lot of the words are the same
words are
sounds.
very, very similar, yes. Like,
Dang.
and like so they can typically, a lot of it's like there's a lot of cognates, a lot of it's mutually intelligible, but and like a lot of people, especially in Bangladesh, can write and speak in Urdu because 1972 they invaded and they made a lot of commerce was switched to being done in Urdu after they slaughtered the intellectuals and scholars and
Oh, wow.
man.
like and doctors and students and.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, my one of my old roommates was from or there were two from Bangladesh and one from West Bengal, which same language, and so I got kind of a proper secondhand account of
Oh, wow.
the atrocities.
Wow.
That's something else. Yeah, from what I've read alone, it was pretty crazy, and I know it's not everything gets reported and things like that.
Well, what's interesting is the U.S. actually backed Pakistan, and then China backed Bangladesh. It was basically one of the a predecessor to the modern format of war, like proxy wars,
Uh-huh.
where like we back the Kurds, Russia backs whoever, like, and then we basically have them fight, supply one side with weapons.
Mm.
Damn.
It's so such a bummer for those people to be involved in this like
Yeah.
proxy conflict,
Right.
like puppet style.
Yep.
Dun, dun,
It was actually
dun.
George Harrison that kind of brought a lot of attention to it. He held a concert for Bangladesh and basically used his pull as a famous musician to alert people to things happening the world over, and especially in the United States, and also highlighted the fact that the United States was not only complicit but also is somewhat guilty, arguably.
Similarly, I learned a lot about the Armenian genocide because of System of a Down.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
think we
Yeah,
really need more of that.
Yeah,
we need
right.
to uplift some more like immigrant bands.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, can we speaking of immigration, can we pull up the new thing that recycled propaganda?
Yeah, so, and he was featured actually, I mean, I've seen, like, following his Facebook page, I've seen, pictures of him putting it up and stuff, but he was actually featured on the local news briefly about his mural. Waz should be pulling it up, but it's just it's a mural of the Statue of Liberty, basically bent over in cuffs on ICE car, the immigration department. And it's, of course, there's a lot of division about the subject of immigration in America currently. So, but that's kind of the purpose for art. But
It is,
Yeah.
and sometimes you might not agree with the political message, but it's still important to honor that in artists and not think it's not art just because you don't agree with it.
yeah,
Or don't think it's a fair representation. But in this case, I think it's really ignorant not to think that it represents something that's really going on right now. And
yeah, for sure.
you have to neglect so much to just repeat things that people with a vested interest are saying about the negative things of immigration and increases in crime that just literally aren't there in the statistics, when spending even a little bit of time to look at statistics of crime in an immigrant community versus crime in a similarly economically low income area but isn't full of immigrants, the crime follows the low income, and there's a serious dip in crime when it happens to be a low income and also immigrants. The immigrant areas are not associated with crime as much as just poor areas are, and our poor areas of people that have been here for a while suffer the most, and that's just neglected and squished into some kind of immigrant thing. And we were talking earlier that scholars that actually study what immigration does to a community or to a society throughout history and throughout time, even as recent as decades ago in various countries to hundreds of years ago. Throughout human history, the people with the gumption to immigrate are usually the hardest working people, and it's only done beneficial things to a society. I mean, it's the times when our nation has been the most immigrant supportive are the times when it's historically had the largest booms.
Yeah.
It just correlates directly. So it's a frustrating thing to be controversial at all at this point.
Well, imagine being that passionate about like what's clearly a human rights issue, and I feel like like a lot of people are playing the devil's advocate, but whenever you're arguing for both sides of a humanitarian crisis or a human rights issue, you're impeding the conversation from moving forward, and like more people are going to die, more people are going to suffer the longer the conversation doesn't move forward. Like but people want to be edgy, they want to seem intellectual, but it really comes off more as complicit. And like, I don't know. It's I just noticed that the people who have a problem with this mural aren't going out and making their own murals. It's a pretty hard thing to depict artistically.
And like what mural would you create for like the opposite side? I imagine like it would just be pretty like,
I don't know,
grotesque. Like it wouldn't be. I don't know. It just seems. I can't even imagine it, but it just doesn't seem like it would be.
Well, the people typically that are, the people who are outraged by this typically aren't very artistic themselves.
Yeah.
So it's like
it's true.
That opens the mind in a way people don't appreciate.
Yeah. Well, and also like what you were saying earlier was about crime follows poor communities more than immigrant communities, and it almost seems like immigrants are being scapegoated because the people who benefit from wealth inequality don't want to talk about wealth inequality.
For real.
Because like wealth inequality is like a root of a lot of issues in society, but it's always something else, but anyway. Before we hop on, we're getting close to the first bill pay time.
Pay time.
Since we had our news about human animal hybrids, we always have to bring up the question with our guest. If you could choose to be genetically modified or spliced or get the qualities or abilities of a specific animal, which one would you choose? And you can choose anything about an animal. You can stew on it. Don't have to answer now.
Yeah, what's the hybrid animal that you want to be genetically mixed with, and what do you want to steal from them?
Yeah, I'm going with that squid ink.
You'd be able to just ink it up or just
plan.
Just
sign documents at any moment.
Ninja bomb, man. Just a smoke bomb. But it'll be just cover them in squid ink, and then I'll be laughing all the way as I'm running.
I'm fascinated by marine life of all sorts, but I don't really know if I would want to be like, hybrid with any kind of marine life. Yeah,
you don't have to be like a literal comic book hybrid with like squid arms. You can just, if you just want to like, take some cheetah speed, you can get some cheetah speed.
I don't know.
You might have some spots.
Squid, octopus. Yeah. I would love to have tentacles just for how much money I would make in porn.
Oh yeah, it would finally come to fruition. The whole Japanese.
There'd be a whole
anime.
There'd be a market just waiting for me.
Yeah, man. It's its own thing.
That's my pick. That's better than my first idea, which was elephant powers of like stomping, just like I'd stomp on cars and stuff.
It's funny.
It'd be fun for a couple days.
Oh, I don't know. That sounds like it'd be fun for a long time.
Right?
Stomping powers, like
stomping powers.
Like crushing circus ringleaders too. Like.
Yeah. Just go in and
Freeing
like bust
my
up.
Elephant, brother.
Yeah, just like bust up the circus. Just start kicking shit all over the place. There's actually I can't remember where it was. I think we had it on like the news docket a couple weeks ago, but there's some circuses now that are using like holographic animals.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so instead of like torturing elephants for their entire lives, they just have giant like flashy green color changing elephants that come in and balance on holographic balls. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, it actually sounds pretty cool.
Right? Like better than actual elephants, because I can't imagine going to the circus and seeing an elephant and be like, oh yeah, that's great. That's really great.
Sad,
they have it like chained up most of its life and fucking hit it with cattle prods all the time.
It's like a slavery demonstration.
So entertaining. Can't fucking imagine.
Did you see that article? Speaking of slavery, like they've been following satellite data.
I was just gonna bring that up. Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
I just saw it today. It's there's like a slave population. A slave population in the modern world larger than the population of Canada, which isn't a very populous country, but
no, still
it's a whole
lot of
country.
people. It says 40.3 million slaves on the planet.
It's a lot of individual experiences that are pretty miserable.
That's
probably.
fucking bonkers, man.
Yeah.
Like,
And like, well, yeah, there was that controversy in the news a year or so ago about Qatar using slave labor to build the arena for the World Cup, and how many are going to die, like of heat exhaustion and unsafe working conditions.
yeah, that's actually like a larger controversy that people don't talk about, is that whenever the Olympics moves into a country, like the countries bid for it really highly and then throw a lot of resources into it. And oftentimes, like with situations that'll be just like that, slave labor or close to slave labor, and people die, like building the area for the Olympics, and then after it's over, it's just like, the fuck do you do with it?
Yeah.
It's just like a blemish on the landscape now, and nothing ever gets done with it.
Yeah, it's not
ever
even
again.
infrastructure. Like, for instance, people died building the Hoover Dam, but it's a vital part of the Western United States infrastructure. At this
It
point.
was worth the risk. City Center was not worth all of the deaths.
Oh, I didn't even know about that. I wasn't here whenever all that was getting built. I got here in like 2013. So.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
2008, City Center was getting built, and it was the largest, and well, not physically largest, but most expensive single construction project in one area, with all of the different companies and different buildings that were all happening simultaneously in one block. In America, possibly, I want to say in the world, but I really think that there's some. That statistic
Probably
is
something in
neglecting
Macau
some.
or-
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like one of those giant cruise ships that a sultan has or whatever. But aside from that, it also has the record for like deaths in construction in the modern era.
Well, and a lot of it was for naught, since they had to like they built that one building and like critically had a critical flaw from the beginning, so they had to tear it back down floor by floor.
That building, as well as Veer Towers, which are the ones that are like crooked, they were made out of the wrong type of steel.
Oh,
There was
Jesus Christ.
a miscommunication between the steel provider, and halfway through they determined they had to just cut off the height there. They were supposed to be like 2 or 3 times taller than they are now.
Jeez.
And a lot of really seasoned construction people that were willing to take unnecessary risks and skirt OSHA guidelines to get things done faster perished building that building because they were disoriented by the way it bends sideways. Basically, it's slanty.
I played Gemma pool, or like the Nomad pool, that new thing they have at Park MGM, and it looks even worse from the other side. Like I understand it's like kind of built to be that way, but it looks like scary slanted. Like from like, because it looks slanted from the strip, but then when you're behind the towers, it looks like
it's like
really
coming at
Their
you.
way,
Yeah.
It's really dramatic. I was really excited when I saw designs for it before it was built and thought it was going to be really cool and dramatic. But now I've talked to people that worked on the construction of that whole complex, and they say that they had a policy to rush people off of the grounds if they were dying, so that they'd actually perish in the
Somewhere
ambulance
else
on the
and
way
not
out
be-
of there, and it wouldn't count on their stats.
wow.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So
dude.
no one really knows the true number
What
of
the
the
actual
deaths.
number
Yeah.
of like deaths caused
And
by
that's
working
in a
there.
first world country.
Yeah,
like,
with OSHA.
with
And OSHA
OSHA.
was just kept out as much as possible until they were losing too much money on fines, and they finally
Yeah.
decided economically they had to enforce OSHA safety. And then the
Yeah.
deaths went down towards the end of the construction.
Yeah, too much in fines, but not too much in deaths until.
Until the
more.
fines for the OSHA was making the
Wow.
deaths not economical anymore.
Well, I think a lot of people view human, or it's not that the human life has a certain value, but certain human lives have value, and
Yeah,
the,
for sure.
like those were just numbers or statistics to the powers that be.
Yeah,
Which is
really
tragically.
sad.
I feel like this is a great advertisement for capitalism.
Yeah.
Well, and a perfect time to pay some bills, to pay some Bob Thorntons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Big Bob Thornton's.
Are you looking for that afternoon pick-me-up? Well, there's the energy drink way, but you're not a fan of all the sugar or the hard crash? Well, then you need Zip Fizz All Natural Energy. That's right, add it to your bottle of water, and soon you'll be replenished with 4 to 6 hours of all natural energy.
Zip Fizz Energy, no sudden crash, 10 calorie, low carb, vitamin B, the healthy energy mix. Zip Fizz.
ZipFizz.com.
At Albo Pizza, our mission is to bring a menu of savory Italian classics and tasty American fare to the city of Las Vegas. Combining a classic menu of Italian favorites and American fare, Albo Pizza was designed with a variety of palates in mind. United by fresh ingredients prepared daily, all our recipes are homemade, hand-tossed, and hard to resist. Explore their popular pizza offerings or branch out with our burgers and chicken wings. Whichever way you go, their menu is prepared to please. Located at 1510 South Las Vegas Boulevard next to Dino's. Visit them online at www.albopizzalv.com or find them on Facebook. For delivery, call 702-333-2526.
Have you been thinking about taking an Alaskan vacation? Well, now you can book an Alaskan cruise tour with YMT Vacations and immediately save $250 per person. Call YMT Vacations today. We've been helping people take the vacation of a lifetime for over 50 years. And right now, if you've been thinking about what it would be like to go on an Alaskan cruise, now with our $250 per person instant rebate is the perfect time. Call right now for details. And if Alaska isn't on your bucket list, we've got over 50 guided tours to different locations worldwide. Call right now for your free brochure. So if you're looking for the perfect cruise tour to Alaska or the perfect guided vacation package, you need to call YMT Vacations to book right now or for our free brochure.
800-213-9256. 800-213-9256. 800-213-9256. That's 800-213-9256.
Do you want to pay more for a new car or new home or less? Yeah! Do you want to pay higher interest rates on your credit cards or even to refinance student loan debt or less? Yeah! The secret to paying less on everything is a better credit score. Is your credit score less than 700? Do you even know? Well, now at the same time, you can learn exactly what your credit score is and learn how to make it better. And when you call our special credit repair hotline, you'll speak to an expert that will tell you simple steps to start improving your credit score. And the call and consultation are F-R-E-E. That's free. I'm telling you, the secret to paying less is a better credit score, and you can fix it right now. So please make this free call and change your life.
877-857-1658. 877-857-1658. That's 877-857-1658.
Hey everyone, it's your buddy Crazy J back again to tell you about Angel Wax. We've been telling you about it for a while now. This product is absolutely amazing. Our boy Tommy Davis, the man behind Angel Wax, he has been working hard for you. He has been on tour, he has been traveling, he's done car shows, he's done conventions. He is spreading the gospel of Angel Wax, and it's working. A lot of people are getting into it. They love it. Those car enthusiasts that are spending their weekends detailing it like crazy, love it. If you want to outshine the rest of the cars on the road, the best way to do that is by getting some Angel Wax. Let Tommy Davis know that RadioVegas.rocks sent you to him to try this amazing product. Angel Wax, get in on it today.
Do you fear the dark? Do you fear the light? Are you afraid of what you've seen? Are you afraid of what you can't see?
What responses, you say you're testing it at the house, what responses did you get when you were testing it?
I mean, I've heard my full name, Chris's name, just direct replies to questions and stuff.
On World Ghost Radio, the paranormal, the spirits, the unexplainable, with your host Rocky on World Ghost Radio.
World Ghost! World
Yep.
Ghost! Anyway, yeah, World Ghost is a cool show. You should check it out. And if you fast forwarded through the commercials and don't know what I'm talking about, then you missed out. Rewind. Be kind. All right, everybody, we're back with Justin Anderson, and this is Greasy Conversation, the talk show on RadioVegas.rocks. Be sure and mention RadioVegas.rocks to these sponsors for them to give you special gladness and benefit us, keep the lights on, keep the Bob Thorntons handled,
Yep.
The Bob Thornton's at bay.
Yeah, you don't want no Bob Thornton busting down your door talking about where's my money.
No. Anyway.
All right. Oh, this is a good one. All right.
I'm ready.
So, I don't know if anyone's familiar, but Blink-182 frontman Tom DeLonge.
I think it's DeLong.
DeLong?
Yeah.
Whatever. That guy. So he's been super into aliens and UFOs for a bit. And he started this UFO organization called To the Stars Academy a while back. And then so they posted a picture of some unknown material that they believe to be found from UFOs.
Materials unknown to science.
Yeah, unknown to science, right? So they start doing this all on Instagram, and people start replying, it just looks like a rock, blah, blah, blah. And it does look interesting if you look at it and you're not familiar with it, but if you happen to be someone like a geologist who knows
what
minerals
rocks, yeah,
and what rocks look like what, you'll call it out immediately, because they just took a stock image of malachite, which is usually, I guess, kind of like different shades of green depending on how it was formed, and they just like did the black and white image of malachite.
Yeah, that's this one here for the video people. Oh, by the way, if you missed us YouTube at the beginning of the stream, there was a thing, but I'm just going to re-upload it. Don't worry about it. Anyway, yeah, so there's this stock photo. They just black and whited it of this rock. And then there's another one of this weird metal that they use the stock photo of it.
Yeah, they just like talk about weird... Yeah, just like weird material. Like not even weird materials, but it's just like... what do you get when you zap a layered piece of bismuth and magnesium with terahertz energy?
Wow.
The dissolution of mass.
Those are definitely words.
I know, right? Exactly. Like, that's what it is. It's like, yeah, we just put words together and they mean things.
Terahertz is a measurement of frequency, not energy. And when you increase frequency, there is an effective increasing energy. But really, you're just increasing how often you're doing a thing. So if it's energy that's pulsed, then it can have terahertz as a frequency. And then but you could be terahertz of like the tiniest amount of energy. It could be worthless. That, and then dissolution of mass. Dissolution is like a psychological thing that happens. You can dissolve mass, but to become disillusioned with it.
It turns out you can put words literally in any order you want.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's like, I don't know if you guys, like there was a Deepak Chopra like saying generator that would just like spit out like random things that sounded like
Rumi and
that pseudo sciencey, like deep spiritual.
Sacred
and it's all
geometry.
just like random words put together, and you're like, it's ridiculous.
I just had a revelation with this, you guys.
Yeah.
I just realized something genius in it that wasn't visible to me before. Okay, in dissolution, solution is the root word he's got here. A solution would be two things mixed together.
Yeah.
So if you have a solution and you separate the two, like with cold water extraction, if you guys have ever done cold water extraction to an opiate medication,
Good old Lortabs.
Yeah, to remove the aspirin or acetaminophen from it. Yeah.
I haven't, but that sounds actually surprisingly gangster. Like,
it's totally I'm going to tell people how to do it. I don't encourage opiates for anything that's not necessary. But if you're stuck in a cycle of opiate addiction and you keep doing sets and tabs and you're poisoning your liver with 300 milligrams of acetaminophen to every like 10 milligrams of whatever the opiate base is, then if you put the pills in like half an inch of water and mush them up till it's powder floating in the water, and then pour that water through a coffee filter into another cup, you'll see all this chalky stuff on the coffee filter that you're going to want to eat because you'll feel like you're wasting good somethings. But you don't want to eat that. That's the acetaminophen. Mm-hmm. The opiate completely dissolves into the water and becomes a solution with it, and you can drink that, and it tastes nasty, but it's actually more effective because your liver is not
that
processing. Well,
no.
Oh, that's codeine. That's
Yeah, lean is like codeine.
Lean has codeine in it. Yeah.
Like codeine and promethazine, I think, is the.
Yeah, so codeine in the water, there is some loss to the process, but the net effect is stronger because your liver's not wasting its filtering ability on all the acetaminophen, and you're less likely to need a liver transplant like before you're 40, which happens to a lot of opiate addicts that do sets and tabs. They're on the liver transplant list.
Right, because acetaminophen is fucking terrible.
You cannot regimen it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm pretty liberal with my, experimentation, but like one of the things I've always had like a certain like avoidance of is like over-the-counter like pain relievers and stuff, because I've just like read so many like horror stories of like it basically destroying people's livers and kidneys and stuff.
Yeah, I think acetaminophen is like one of the worst offenders.
For sure.
Aspirin is pretty mellow, but as long as you don't get in the habit of like taking it all the time,
or
like
large doses of it.
Aspirin or Advil is pretty like okay.
Also, what's the inflammatory one that's really
ibuprofen?
Ibuprofen can be similarly dangerous in like these athlete doses of like 1,000 milligrams every day.
Yeah.
So that's like a temporary thing, but like to go to it when you need it is not an issue. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so I saw this dissolution. So if he's saying we're talking about
dissolution of matter.
Separating a solution of mass, there's mass that's a solution. It's which you're supposed to call that a compound. So you have a compound and you're separating it. But he talks about a layered piece. Okay, so it's bismuth and magnesium, and you're supposed to, which isn't a solution, but you somehow dissolution it. Anyway, it's definitely a mix-up of terms for things. But
well, no, and then here's the...
I thought he was saying you combine them and they become separated because of you combining them.
But here's there's also someone has a follow-up to that, and it says the combination of bismuth and magnesium had eluded us for 4 years. But then one day we found a reference to an obscure industrial process used in the refinement of lead. And they go on to describe the process, blah, 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 but it's certainly...
Uses molten magnesium floated over the surface of liquid lead. The magnesium stocks up, pulls bismuth impurities out of the lead. So it's like that's already a thing in an industrial process, and all it does is make lead more pure. Because the magnesium sucks the bismuth out of the lead.
So he tried... It's like he tried to find some obscure...
industrial process for refining lead,
and to just reference it as like being impossible, but it's already been solved. And if
good one, Tom, nice try.
If you don't keep up on it, you're not going to know if you don't like follow.
The internet knows. The internet knows what you plagiarized.
Materials, chemistry.
I can't name a single Blink-182 song. I must have missed the bus on that whole genre of music. But I have to say, like, pseudoscience is definitely a pretty serious faux pas when it comes to credibility.
Right.
Yeah.
That is just such thorough pseudoscience that like you'd really have to neglect and just want to believe in Blink-182 specifically.
It reminds me of this really strange Facebook account that follows like a lot of psytrance and bass music, like psychedelic wook hippie bass music profiles, including my own, which I guess that makes sense. But
check it out.
Yeah, her profile is just like a space age like model, and I'm pretty sure like she might be real because she has thousands of followers. But like she basically posts a profile photo, but instead of doing the thing that a lot of girls do where they put like some kind of like poem or quote with their profile picture, it's just like random like basically that like you can put words in anywhere you want, and then she has thousands of fans that also comment shit like that on her pictures. Like it's just visible light spectrum, like basically that's like hilarious. It's just ad-libbing like random
just
scientific words.
Any pseudoscience imaginable. Yeah. That's great, man. That's really. But
that's kind of how that read as.
Like, it's definitely. Yeah. I always like Neil deGrasse Tyson's thing on UFOs. He's like, you say, I don't know what that is, so it must be a UFO. And he's like, no. The U is for unidentified. So once you say, I don't know what that is, he's like, that's it. Yeah. Then we can start testing or trying to capture it or record it and then figure out what it is. But once you say, I don't know, you can't say anything after that.
No, you can't say it's a thing.
You don't need to speculate.
Yeah. That's not very scientific.
Yeah.
Or at least test your speculations.
Right.
Oh man, there's people in the military flying jets that are seeing other things flying around and they don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Because of course they haven't been cleared to know what everything is.
Like everyone in the military is cleared to know everything about the military. The fuck out of here.
Well, that's what they're going to tell us when we storm Area 51, and they're going to be there with clipboards and stickers and free hats.
Sign this up.
Yeah,
We're all joining the military, boys.
You get a free hoodie.
I wonder what the
water
response
bottles.
to that is, because I on my music page as a joke, or recently I went on this like whole like tirade about like going to. I'm currently not 86 from anywhere. I was 86 from a bar in Brooklyn, but that bar has since closed down. But I'm not 86 from anywhere, strangely enough, you know, given my behavior. And like I had this like this pipe dream of getting 86 from Applebee's because I made some memes. And, you know, anyway, so I made an event page on my music page, and this event page got like hundreds of like people like going to it, and it was just getting ejected from Applebee's.
Yeah.
And people like actually some people, the first event I made, people actually showed up to it like thinking it was like real, like they're like ready to do it. Like people I have zero mutual friends with that just saw the.
Yeah,
they're like,
let's get fucking
and they're like,
kicked
"Are
out
you
of
serious?"
Applebee's.
Like, or yeah, she messaged and she was like, "Yeah, me and my friends here, but we don't really see anyone like causing trouble." And I was like, "Oh, you actually went?" Like, I didn't really want to take this seriously. And she was like, "Yeah, well, like, you know, me and like at least like 6 of my friends are down if you're like ready to do it." And
You're really ready to
so
get
I'm
Applebee's.
expecting like someone's probably gonna try to actually, you know, show up.
Yeah. Some people are definitely gonna show up. But
what do you think's gonna happen to those people?
I think the normal base security will be able to handle the amount of people that show up, and maybe they'll have some like other people brought in. But
I don't think a lot of people are going to go towards the base.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm sure they'll have extra security, but there's not a fence and everything's underground for the most part, except the airstrip stuff. But everyone's meeting at the tourism thing that is actually pretty far from the base still. And the roads to the base aren't very good because they fly people into it.
Yeah.
So everyone that works there doesn't get there by vehicle anyhow. So people that will go towards there in vehicles, they'll probably just be folks with trucks where there's like a gun turret in the bed of the truck.
They'll just block it off, man.
That was like the whole the plan. They like the Kyles with like lifted trucks were gonna like
Kyles,
charge.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's only a couple trails, so you're right. They could probably easily put blockades on what couple trails they are.
Yeah.
The rest of the raw desert's kind of difficult to truck through, even trying to Kyle it up.
Yeah.
You can only Kyle so hard, you guys.
Yeah.
I really think it's going to get turned into a recruitment opportunity. And the people are going to be like, hey, you want to join the Air Force? We'll let you see these aliens right away. We'll fast track you right to Alien Town.
I mean, you never know. Like the whole like meme culture, aside from being like modern day hieroglyphics, it does have like a certain like marketing element that a lot of companies, like multi-billion-dollar companies, are starting to embrace.
Totino's is a perfect one.
And have been for a minute.
Like Wendy's on Twitter.
Wendy's Twitter is perfect.
Yeah.
They're mean.
I mean, presidential campaigns, man.
Yeah.
Like Trump's campaign was using like fucking the frog, Pee Pepe.
Yeah.
I don't know, Pee the frog.
Pepe.
Yeah, that's definitely some dog whistling. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, or like the Hillary and Bernie meme, where it's like one, or I don't know. It was popular like back in 2016.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. They change it changes so fast that it's like unless you're happen to be there at that exact time, like you could just totally miss the boat on certain trends and. But they'll come back. They all come back.
Yeah, Totino's Pizza Rolls is a killer Instagram as far as like that. They've got dank memes by Totino's.
What was it? Hamburger Helper also came out with like a mixtape, and it was like actually, it was surprisingly well produced. Like, and it was just all about like Hamburger Helper, and like it was like these like ferocious trap beats, like truly like filthy.
That's amazing.
Like there was this dude who like when sparkling water started really getting big, like with LaCroix and stuff. Yeah. And
this is a Coke sparkling water.
Oh yeah. This one dude would just put out like hip hop tracks, so they were just all about sparkling water.
Nice.
Like 50 or 60 tracks, just all about how great sparkling water is.
I mean, I love sparkling water.
Yeah, I'm a convert. It's actually really fucking delicious.
It's like that flat Perrier, everybody. You want that flat Perrier? Want that flat Perrier? It's like water.
tastes slightly worse.
That's a track I'm working on.
Yeah. We'll get there one day.
Yeah.
All right, before we pay some more bills. All right, this is continuing the trend, the meme trend of now going into stores where people buy food and fucking up people's foods.
Oh man, it got worse.
Which I just, oh man, like
this is like peak food tampering.
Yeah, this is the worst. So some motherfucker in Pennsylvania just goes into a Walmart, pisses in the potato bin.
How? Like,
good question.
Well, first of all, it's
what
fucking
was
Walmart.
what was their gender?
It was a woman, and
It was a woman.
Okay,
that
so
did make it
definitely
more
how.
difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
I think there's video. Let's see.
She just probably went in there and then sat down on the potato bin and
I
let
was
her
just
rip.
imagining like those things that girls will have at festivals, so they can like be
Shiwi.
standing up at.
Oh yeah,
yeah, shiwi.
Yeah.
Yeah, she shiwied on the potatoes.
Like, you can't be fucking with my potatoes.
And
man.
was it worth it? Was it worth it? We see what you look like now. You're famous now. Was it worth it?
Yeah, congratulations. Everyone hates you.
Yeah, you broke a law that's a really serious law, and you will be like punished for it hella. And
like whenever you Google her name, it's gonna be like associated
Potato
with pissing on
pisser.
potato.
That's the potato pisser. Leave potato pisser alone over there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I hope it was
just-
worth it.
That man, and people just keep doing stupid shit. And I mean, I don't know if people need to like call their parents to like have them pay attention to them, or they need to get like a fucking animal or,
Well, is
or
it for
something.
social media or is it just like spite for the
It
human
always
race? Like,
is.
It's
It
always,
always is for some posts.
It's generally just for attention.
In this
So-
case, if she was a real Instagram celebrity, then she would have purchased the potatoes and taken them to her own home to pee on them there.
Yeah.
And then sold them.
Okay, yeah, like
That's how you're supposed to do it.
The whole bathwater debacle.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, listen. There's someone out there who will buy a pissed on potato, just not from Walmart. All right, that's got to be a high dollar, high quality item.
It just
right?
seems like a weird like thing to, or like why the potatoes? Like I'm just wondering what the decision making process.
Oh yeah,
was.
what made her choose that particular vegetable?
Probably just like it's a big bin of potatoes. It's easy access to just like sneak by, and it's Walmart. No one's gonna question like what the 500th like weird fucking person sitting on the potato bin is doing.
The potatoes look like they need moisturizing more than other vegetables.
I'm just
They
envisioning
look so dry.
envisioning a manhunt after like they reviewed the security footage too. Like did they go to her house and arrest her?
I would fucking hope so. Would fucking hope so, man. Get Dog the Bounty Hunter on that shit. Like spray her with some bear mace.
Oh man, someone maliciously didn't return my credit card at a drive-through line once. This was over a decade ago, and within minutes they like took a break from work or quit or something and went and bought stuff with my card.
Oh Jesus!
And they were caught
they
like
might-
later
they might-
that day.
they might have thought you were that Apple guy.
Oh,
There's
because of the
some guy
name.
from Apple-
Yeah,
there's
Steve
some-
Wozniak has the same last name as me.
Yeah, they
like,
might have
oh,
thought
I
you
got
were
that
that dude. It's
Wozniak
like,
tip. Yeah.
It's like fuck it, he's got it. He's got money to blow.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
which maybe yeah.
Oh man, they found the person between like talking to the restaurant. Seriously, like that afternoon.
Wow.
Damn.
It's crazy. The banks are fierce. The banks get on that. The potato banks are even worse. Those potato.
Yeah.
The potato patrol is gonna get her.
Fucking get her. Yeah. Shit like that just is terrible. If you know someone like that, fucking turn them in.
I feel
Put
like
them
that-
out of their goddamn misery.
I feel like that's like peak first world problems. Like imagine like countries where like there's like a lot of food insecurity, like
Yeah,
throughout
for
a lot of
sure.
the population. They probably at least don't have problems with people pissing on potatoes at like supermarkets.
Right. Not to mention like we just
Yeah,
like
probably that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Not to mention we just like throw away so much fucking food in America. It's disgusting. And yeah, we're worried about people pissing on potatoes. I mean, it's still shitty to piss on potatoes that you don't own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can't
Like,
believe we're saying this so much.
if you want to piss on potatoes,
Purchase them.
yeah, just
Yeah.
fucking buy them and piss on them in the comfort of your own home. No one cares.
Purchase your pissed potatoes.
I feel like we've uttered at least one sentence that's never been uttered
Right?
by like
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
That's
far.
right. This is groundbreaking.
Yeah.
We're saying things that have rarely been said in human history that are also
Or if
alliteration.
never. Yeah.
I love when I get to say things that start with the same letter a lot.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, food tampering. These pugs did some food tampering over here, and they're green now.
Oh yeah, these cute little St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, I'll show you after a 10-minute ad.
St. Patty's Day bastard.
See St. Patty's Day pugs.
Yeah.
It says pugs, but they really look like English bulldogs.
Yeah,
to me,
that's
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
this.
I mean, baby pugs might look English bulldoggy.
Well, they do have like really weird like.
They're so
But the
great.
ears, the pugs don't have those ears.
No,
that's the English bulldog ears. I mean, these people are confused.
Yeah. So how'd that happen?
They got into some food coloring.
Yep.
They just found their way into food coloring. Though it's so evenly distributed, I'm really suspicious that this owner did that. But I mean, they have a whole area of the house that's like they. I think if I did this to my dogs, I'd do it in the bathtub and not destroy this floor. Because it looks like their floor is pretty messed up too. But all over their bodies, it's just too cute.
Yeah, it's very St. Patrick's Day themed.
Right.
Cute animal alert.
But also on a note, don't dye your animals with like chemical dyes.
Oh yeah.
Just don't do that. If you know someone who's going to do that, talk them out of it. Because it's dumb and it'll hurt the animal, most likely.
That's a good thought, because we have to disclaimer all of these things we go at sometimes.
Yeah, because you never fucking know with people, man. That's the world we live in. You just never know.
All right,
People pissing all over potatoes all over the place. It's a goddamn madhouse, man. All right, should we pay some more? Should we pay some more Bob Thornton's?
Yeah.
All right.
Some Billy Gibbons.
Yep.
That's an obscure one. That's the ZZ Top guy. Play some. I think of a ton of them during the commercials.
I mean, I might live under a rock. But I'm not. Let's see. What's the Bob Thornton reference?
Billy Bob Thornton,
Oh,
the actor. Yeah.
He's the guy who was in Bad Sinner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most certainly was. It's a national fucking treasure.
When the weight of the world is on your back and your head is caving in, life has no meaning, gone off track. You feel like slave eating. There's a nectar from the gods that you left undiscovered. Just mix it with water and you will see as if this is your destiny.
Hello, everybody. This is DJ Fade from Faded and Elevated, and I am so excited to talk to you guys about Deluxe Cleaning Service. Yeah, that's right. Miss Blanca Lopez, she is the cat's meow, y'all. She comes to your house. She comes to your office. She comes wherever you need her to go, and she cleans that sucker up like it's never been cleaned before. Yeah, that's right. She will come absolutely anywhere. Wherever you need her, she's there to keep you clean in the deluxe way.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally caught up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 888-789-5042. 888-789-5042. 888-789-5042. 888-789-5042.
This is a national healthcare alert from the 24/7 Diabetic Health Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one has diabetes, listen closely. Now, regardless of your age, if you have insurance, you may qualify to receive diabetic testing supplies with little to no out-of-pocket cost. Get free delivery, free information, and all the paperwork is handled by our accredited suppliers for free. Call the 24/7 Diabetic Health Hotline now for details. Toll free at this number. But wait, there's more. If you call right now, you could get a meter upgrade. In addition, we'll give you a free pair of diabetic socks as our special gift to you. Regardless of your age, if you suffer with diabetes and have insurance, you may qualify to get free delivery of your supplies.
800-439-7409. 800-439-7409. 800-439-7409. That's 800-439-7409.
Hey ladies, when it's not raining men, it's always raining tacos at Juan's, Flaming Fajitas, and Cantina during their daily happy hour from 3 to 7. If things get a little too hot from their authentic Flaming Fajitas, you can visit their outdoor dining area and cool down with one or dos Corona Ritas. If you're feeling spicy, be sure to order one of my personal favorites, their fresh tableside guacamole, which goes perfectly with their homemade chips and salsa for one or two.
This is the Rockin' Comedy Show with Crazy J.
We could teach you some Aussie if you like.
I would love to learn.
Yeah? All right, you got to say 3 words. Just say it normally, just an American accent, whatever.
Okay.
So you got to say rise.
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 Yep. Up.
Up.
And then lights.
Lights.
Any American listening can try this as well.
Yeah, you
those 3
can
words.
try this if you're listening. So you say rise, up, lights in a row. So just say it normal, like rise, up, lights.
Rise up, lights.
That's how we say razor blades, like you're
Rise
having a
up,
shave.
lights.
That's
yeah.
razor
Rise up,
blades in
lights.
perfect
That's
Australian.
razor blades in Australian.
Rise up lights.
Razor
Rise
blades.
up lights.
No, you're trying to say it in
Rise up
Australian.
lights.
Just say rise
Just
up
say
lights.
rise up
Rise
lights.
up lights.
The Rockin' Comedy Show.
Oh, so is Jay still doing his?
Heck yes. In fact, the Rockin' Comedy Show is better than it's ever been with killer games. Jay, just a few weeks ago, introduced this game where he takes music and will take a popular song and reverse a chunk of it, and you hear it backwards, just a clip of it, and you try to guess what song it is.
That sounds really cool. Yeah.
Totally, especially with the 2 hosts that he regularly has, Casey Jetson and DJ Fade from the Faded and Elevated show, which you should totally check out the schedule page on radiovegas.rocks and check out her show and everything that she's doing and Jay's shows, because Jay also has some really interesting music shows aside from the Rockin' Comedy Show, where he will I don't remember how it's like named on there, but you'll see Jay's name on it, and you're going to hear music that you've never heard before, and interesting and funny or introspective throughout time. And sometimes a song, you're like, wow, this is a really cool song. It sounds familiar. And it's like by an artist that's known for other music that you never knew they had this song. But then, of course, the Rockin' Comedy Show, like Good Old Times, is more entertaining with its games and wacky news than it's ever been. It's like at like a new apex. So it's really worth checking out. Really worth checking out Pulsar's show on the schedule, and checking out the indie music that he finds from around the world that is really well curated. He finds some really great tunes, some real diamonds in the rough, and introduces you to a lot of upcoming stuff. He's really got a finger on the pulse of new indie stuff that's rad in the rock spectrum especially. And then there's another one. Forgive me for some of the cool shows I'm neglecting, but also on my mind at this moment is the fella, Shannon, who is Freakmaster. Shannon. Shannon Freakmaster. He's on the schedule page too. You got to see this fire schedule page, you guys. I'm so proud of what we've got in our schedule nowadays. But this guy is famous for his high-end paintwork on hot rods and motorcycles. But you expect like these biker tunes, and instead he hits you with some really amazing classic funk also that just fits into this rad era and vibe and feeling. So he's really worth checking out, as well as a ton of other ones. I can't remember more than 2 or 3 at once. Lizzie Minx, the mixtape with Lizzie Minx from Pat Tigers. That's another major one.
Yeah, she's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna see folks you love on there. So check out that schedule page.
I feel like I'd slay at the whole reverse tune thing. Like if you play my songs backwards, like a lot of that robot gibberish is actually just like reversed, like speech, but put through like various phasers and stuff that makes it sound like a robot.
I didn't
love
realize
reverse
that.
stuff. Yeah, like it's usually there's like usually pretty meaningless. One of my favorite things to sample are his name was Rackham Willie. He was this hobo from Atlanta, and he was just like caught on like this like crack jabber like loop, like and you just say Rackham, and like a lot of like the weird robot stuff in my music is just me taking like snippets of this guy like jabbering like
so cool.
Turning, yeah. Rest in peace, Rackham Willie.
I love shit like that. That's awesome.
Anyway, you're listening to Greasy Conversation on RadioVegas.rocks, just in case you didn't realize.
Yeah, or if you forgot. It happens. I forget I'm on the show sometimes, so, no fault there, folks. All right, let's dive back. It's kind of interesting. This falls into this area of, I don't know if you guys remember, I don't know how long ago, maybe like 6 to 8 months ago, there was the whole thing floating around on Facebook and the interwebs in general. What color is this dress? And some people would see a blue dress, some people would see a gold dress. And it basically just boils down like some people, there's around like half of the population that just perceives certain things entirely differently than the other half, and that's all there is to it. So this one is a math equation. It seems simple. And I don't know if you've probably seen it around. It's 8 divided by 2, open parentheses, 2 plus 2, close parentheses, equals whatever. But the thing is, you ask this to different people, and they could be math professors, people who have studied math for a long time, and they'll give you different answers. And that's because there are different answers depending on like how you solve it, and it just relates to the order of operations. But it's a pretty interesting...
What's the equation? Or what was the equation again?
It's 8 divided by 2, and then you've got an open parentheses, 2 plus 2, and then close parentheses, equal sign. So it seems really simple, and it seems like something you'd encounter in like 3rd or 4th grade or something when you're learning about like the PEMDAS technique or something like that. And there's 2 different schools of thought around that anyway. But it's just interesting that you have like math experts arguing whether the answer is 1, which it can be, whether the answer is 16, which it also can be, or whether the answer is 100, which it also could be.
Yeah,
it all depends on the order of operations. That's crazy.
Yeah, but it just kind of drives to this core of like, what actually is the correct order of operations? Because there's a few different ways. I mean, there's the generally agreed upon one we all learned like in grade school growing up, PEMDAS, which is pretty universal. But there's another one I can't remember what it's slightly different. BODMAS. So PEMDAS is parentheses, indices, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, and BODMAS is brackets, order, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So they seem like really similar, but I guess they're not. And an even weirder thing is different calculators will give you different answers.
No.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
yeah,
it's just It's
For
one of
me-
these like mental tricks. It seems like.
What do you read it as? For me, it definitely reads as 16.
Yeah, because I dive to do quotations parentheses first, and like I live by parentheses first when I do code in C++ for like Arduinos and stuff, because that's super important to get to determine, okay, the input from this sensor, do this to it, and then I need that number to see if it's within this range. And if that's happening in the wrong order, then it's a total mess.
It's not gonna work. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so it's just really interesting, and just goes to show that we all live in a kind of.
Well, the state of reality, like how is this reality? Do we live? What reality are we living in together?
It's very precarious because we all like. There's a lot of things that everyone can agree on, but when you start getting into like finer details, we don't always agree on everything. So, it's like I don't know that the whole dress thing. I was like, that shit's fucking blue. What the fuck are you guys talking about?
It's weird, this BODMAS versus PEMDAS thing, because what if you have parentheses and not brackets, or brackets and not parentheses? I guess those are interchangeable, right?
Yeah, that's what I think. I think it might be like
Aren't brackets like more of a calculus kind of thing rather than an algebra?
And then how do you put order before the... So brackets order, what does that mean? Because I thought we were determining the order of this. Is this some other definition of order I don't understand?
Probably,
Just like, okay, if it's in a certain order, then...
Yeah.
Might be like verging like topography and all that.
Yeah, it could be.
A part of me just furiously just wants to be right and just say it's this way and I'm right and you guys are crazy. But I guess I don't have the authority to determine
Yeah,
that.
you absolutely don't.
I've done,
no one does. That's the thing.
I've done no math professorhood.
But that's the thing. Like, who gets to determine what the right answer is, right? Like, who's the authority on math?
I'm curious how it could come to one, though.
It should be the universe.
But,
I don't know how it could come to one either. Because 2 times 4. And then it would be 8. So the 2 plus 2 being 4, and then 2 times that giving 8. That's actually what I came up with. And then I thought I was wrong. This is the most emotional pile of numbers. Like, it's really messing with my head and my values.
But think of, like, there's probably a lot of problems like that. That, like, depending on how you arrange it and how you solve it, you could get a different answer.
I'm only getting 1. I don't get how I got 2 a minute ago. Besides thinking that the 2 before there was a 4 for a minute. And, man.
Well, don't worry, because there's people with, like, math degrees and who have studied math their entire lives who are arguing over it. So, it's not just us, it's everyone.
It hurts. I really hope that we brought you guys a visceral experience with this math thing that I worried would be kind of dry. I was like, oh no, we're going to something with PEMDAS in it. And now I'm seriously emotionally affected by my feelings about this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm holding in rage and judgment and
Yeah, previously I felt like my understanding of math was pretty elementary, but now I feel like pretty ignorant. Like,
I thought I was
it goes
decent.
pretty deep.
I mean, I thought I was decent at non-calculus stuff, like just regular like high school algebra and geometry. I thought I was pretty pimp at up until that level. Like, when you get where there's stuff on top of other stuff too much, that's like another person's party. But I thought, like,
yeah, where you're like, okay, there's numbers on one line, and then there's numbers under that line, but those numbers are over another line.
Oh no!
Like, what, the 2 lines, the 3 what?
Yeah.
I gotta divide twice at the same time. I don't even know what to do.
When there's Greek letters and I'm not also looking at a page that tells me what the Greek letters mean, I'm pretty lost.
Yeah.
There's like a web calculator I'll use.
Find the square root of the square root of... Yeah. All right. Math is fun, guys.
Yeah, it turns out it can be emotionally draining even.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so let's see what we've got behind here.
Oh, yeah. So did you guys hear about this? The Arctic has fucking caught on fire. There's been a ton of wildfires since June in the Arctic. So.
And you think they're Chinese hoaxers?
No, that was just a joke. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed this.
There's so many jokes of Greg's in the news notes, you guys. If you don't dive with us and actually check out our news document, you're missing out. not only the links we're going to fund to
Yeah, I
dive
mean,
in,
there's
but
like
this
record
commentary.
There's record heat waves in like different countries all over the world, like the Arctic's catching on fire. There's massive forest fires in California every year. Like shit's getting fucked up, but it's all a hoax.
Sounds like the liberal agenda of reading comprehension and
It does.
research.
It really does. Like, it's just so funny. And what's interesting, like the most interesting part of the whole, and I guess with any conspiracy theory, is that someone always has to be behind it and funding it. And that's like one of the weakest links in like the flat earth conspiracy.
Yeah.
Is like, who's funding the misinformation of the flat earth and like what's their overall goal?
Right? How much money do you make on these $7 eBay globes?
Yeah, so like I don't want to dive into that, whatever. But with the climate change, global climate change, the fossil fuel industry actually studied this in the late 70s and early 80s and knew all of this shit and knew the projected global temperatures. They knew all this and they hid that information, and because they have a financial interest to do so. But yet there's actually some secret cabal of climate scientists who are trying to convince everyone that the global climate is rising because grant money, I guess. Because
Right? Like, what does it do to do this?
Grant money is like a multi-$100 billion industry.
Multi-hundred. Yeah. Or like
Yeah.
multi-100 million only. Yeah, like millions is like a crappy small amount of money now. If it's not like in
Right.
Yeah,
like hundreds of billions, it's like not a lot of money.
There's 17.3 million millionaires just in the United States.
Dang! Wait, say that again.
17.3 millionaires just in the United States. Like I have like friends on my Facebook that make like 50 to 100K a year identifying with these super rich people, and it's just like, and they were talking about like peasants and stuff, and it's like, well, first of all, you have a personal Facebook page, which makes you a peasant with at best peasant ambitions, and like you know, like, and yeah, you don't even have a publicist, like, so it's like, who are you to be calling, you know, people poor? And like, so if you have $1 million, which I only know like a handful of people that have $1 million, even they're millionaires, you're not in the 1%. Like you're
not even. Yeah,
No.
not close. Like,
no.
Of the world, though, we're all in the like 2 or 3% of the world.
Definitely. Like
It's a weird range. People have a very difficult time perceiving perspectives and how large a range can be, like how big a difference there is between 100,000 of something and 1 million of something. How big a difference there is.
a million and a billion. Like
Yeah, I was between 1 million and a billion.
If you make it was like, I forget. It was like if you make $3,600 an hour, it'll take you 40 years, and you work a normal work week. It takes you 40 years to become a billionaire. That's how, like.
How much money?
Like it's just insane, like, amount of money. And like I have like friends who make like 50K a year, you know, defending people who make 10 million a year, because like there was a tax recently levied against people who make your earnings after 10 million, or it was proposed. And then you have people who make 50K a year, so, you know, being like, oh no, that's not fair. And it's like, it would take these people like 20 or, you know, like 40 years to make $10 million total. And like, it's just like it's just interesting how like I know it's like, especially a lot of Americans, they don't really see themselves as middle class or poor. They see themselves as like temporarily, like, you know, they see themselves as millionaires. They're just temporarily down on their luck or haven't made their big break yet.
I can't remember who it was.
They're like they're entitled to something.
It was some author, but he classified them as temporarily embarrassed millionaires.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but it's a pretty common phrase. Yeah, people really lose sight of like how much money it is when you talk about people having multiple billions of dollars. Like, if they spent like $1 million a day, it would take them X amount of years to spend all their money, and it's a long fucking time. $1 million a day.
Well, that would take you 1,000 days. to spend $1 billion.
Yeah, exactly. So when you get into like,
that's assuming
It's
you're
like
not bringing any more in.
almost 4 years.
yeah. So it gets pretty crazy.
About 3 years.
But we lose track of like, because it's just a number. It's just just $1 billion. That's way fucking more than I can think of. So it's just a lot, But whatever.
On that note, those are the squeaky pipes of new mysteries to uncover.
Yeah, so this is kind of a warning article. I see these pop up kind of every summer, I feel like. But we do have several cases of West Nile virus.
Here in the desert.
Yeah, in Clark County, where we shouldn't even have fucking mosquitoes.
No.
But they do pop up.
Neglected pools.
Yeah,
That's one thing.
They're not like... It's not in like a humid state where you actually have mosquitoes.
Yeah.
But there are mosquitoes here and there, and apparently they can carry West Nile virus. So there's been
one of my friends came down with it. She got bit at Burning Man.
No
of
way.
all places.
Oh yeah.
Like in
mosquito bite at Burning Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
man.
literally got West Nile.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. So there's been a total of 8 cases so far this year in Vegas. So you see them mosquitoes fucking destroy without prejudice, man. Fucking flamethrower them up, slice them up with a machete, do what you got to do, get them out of here.
They're not very important to ecosystems compared to other animals that are more risky to really kill a lot of, because a lot of them are really like our fault for being there and neglecting environments and stuff.
What's interesting is like the West Nile thing with mosquitoes is, do you think it has to do with like there being like a smaller population, thus the virus is spread? Like it's more concentrated, like because the South has so many mosquitoes and they used to tear me to pieces.
You don't ever hear of anyone getting West Nile there?
Yeah. So,
I mean, that could be it. Yeah.
That would be a lot of cases even there where there's a ton of mosquitoes.
Yeah, that definitely could be it. I'm not sure because I don't know how often I've seen a mosquito here. And
I've
for
never
20
seen
years.
One. Like in
20 plus years.
when we did that whole regional up at Spicer Ranch, the Southern Nevada Burning Man regional. Apparently there were mosquitoes there, and one of my friends got destroyed by him. He's like El Salvadorian, and they just ate him alive.
Like the only person who got destroyed by him.
no, seriously, and they were like, he was covered in bites, and
terrible.
I never even saw any mosquitoes. So it's interesting, like when the ones that the mosquitoes choose.
Yeah,
so to
I get
speak.
chosen for sure.
You know what helps
tore up.
is I used to do this when I camped a lot and there were a lot of mosquitoes. Either eat bananas or just swallow a couple match heads.
I've heard the banana.
No!
I've heard the opposite about bananas.
Oh really?
Yeah, in the South, there's that's where I'm from originally. It's they say eating bananas draws them to you.
Huh? That's really weird.
Eat a couple match heads?
Yeah, because
the phosphorus.
Yeah, the phosphorus. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds cool.
That was
to do anyway.
Yeah, that was what we used to do. Camping is just tear a couple match heads off and swallow them.
Man, that sounds
Good to
gangster.
go.
Hey, shout out to Kella Bobella. Check out her
What up,
music.
Kella?
Yeah, look up that music. She's hollering in the chat right now. Highly recommend. All right. So we're getting close
I'm playing with her drummer tomorrow night.
No
at Rebar.
way! Tomorrow
nice.
night at Rebar?
Yeah, we play there every Saturday. They play there every Friday, actually.
Nice.
So
Rebar on Main
two
Street.
nights at Rebar. Fridays, or Kellabobella, Dead Money. If you're from the old Vegas scene, you probably remember Kellabobella rather than Dead Money. But
the Dead Money is the hub of the Kella Bobella enterprise right now.
But the drummer basically lives there at this point. He's
Nice.
there Friday and Saturdays every
Yeah,
morning.
nice, sweet.
Rebar is awesome. The cool thing about Rebar is that it's also a thrift store. So all the weird bric-a-brac and paraphernalia along the walls is for sale. The crazy, weird, obscure, vintage drinking glass you could be served in is also for sale. And prices are reasonable. It's in a really hip, revitalizing part of downtown on Main Street in the Arts District. It's just art artsy, arts districty as AF.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Peak Arts District.
Arts District.
There's a lot of like cool details, like on the TVs. They just play like the montages of weird videos, just like
old commercials,
80s like commercials, just all 80s shows, like all just cut together, just cool. Yeah, it's a cool spot. They got an old school, the Pac-Man guy.
Yeah, there's an old
chompy guy.
Pac-Man, chompy circles.
Yeah.
Over there. And there's a commercial on that TV for Crossfire. Do you guys remember that board game?
Dude.
Crossfire, you get caught up in the crossfire, crossfire.
Yeah. Did you ever actually play that game?
No, only the commercials.
Yo.
A friend had it, and we played it a little bit and got immediately bored with it.
It's like terrible game.
It's pretty terrible.
It seems so cool though on those commercials. You're like, yeah, shoot the little metal pellets. And then, they all get collected on one side, and then, oh, man.
Your friend gets sucked into this spinning spike thing and spins around. He's like, oh, no, green screen.
Yeah.
So spend more money on advertising than actual development budget.
Of the game, for sure.
Yeah, but that was a time when, like, all those games, you could just make shitty games and people would buy them.
Don't break the ice.
Oh, God, dude. Mousetrap? Okay. Whoever actually played Mousetrap is what the fuck I want to know.
I didn't play it, but the theme song still echoes in my
head. Or the commercial looked really cool. You got a little Rube Goldberg machine you can build.
I played with that part of it.
But like, whoever played? Yeah, no one ever played that fucking game, man. No one. You can't convince me that anyone ever played it.
Yeah, I've never seen it in the wild.
Never seen it in the wild.
Yeah, no one even owned that shit. I don't know what they did. They're just in landfills. Like the fucking E.T. Atari game.
Oh yeah, that I saw. Or I never played it, but I saw like reviews about it being like the worst game ever made.
Did you guys hear that? The legend of where they buried all of the unsold E.T. games. They hunted down the specific spot in the specific landfill and actually uncovered them from the ground.
Yeah, because there was like a rumor for a long time that because the game was so bad that the company just like
buried a bunch of them,
chucked all the cartridges,
and a lot of people thought it was a myth.
Yeah, so they did find where and dug them all up, and turns out they did bury a shit ton of cartridges out there.
An even cooler video than on YouTube, the expose of that whole little documentary of that happening, is the actual creator of the E.T. game, who created some other games that were really cool, defending the E.T. game, and when you see him play it makes more sense, and it's actually a cooler game, and you get what he meant by some of the things that confused and angered people, but he just didn't have the time to like finish it.
Yeah, because it was in the
it
was in the air like a boom of video games. So like people are they're just like
it had to be rushed to go out with the movie.
Out. You just gotta like this is like the biggest movie right now. You just gotta put that game out. Who cares what it is?
Yeah, that was the beginning of the game crash in America.
Yeah,
and Nintendo was criticized heavily for trying to release the NES in America on the tail end of this crash. Like, America's having this hates video games now, and you're gonna try to release this, and they're like, well, wait, no, ours is good though. We looked at what went wrong, and that's why there's that Nintendo seal of approval. And the cartridges had copyright protection, a special chip that was in there to make pirated cartridges not work. Things like that. Hey, do we have a quick Bob Thornton to throw at everyone? And then news chug?
A quick Bob Thornton?
Or did we do early Bob Thornton's last break?
Nope, we got one more Bob Thornton break.
Uh-oh.
Come get the visit from old Bob Thornton.
See you, Bob.
All right, Dix. I told you to register for the free Aerosmith tickets by clicking on the link for the Radio Vegas Rocks app, and then simply register your name and phone number under the VIP tab. To punish you, Dix, I'm going to play Janie's Got a Gun on my hand flute, while I explain again how great this contest through Radio Vegas Rocks truly is. This is free airfare, free hotel accommodations, and 2 VIP tickets on the actual stage. You're on the stage watching Aerosmith play. If one of you dicks win these tickets and you have no one to go with, I'll go with you. I would love to see if Aerosmith on stage turtle, even if you win. As long as you promise you don't roofie my drink, you don't have sex with my dead corpse. Hopefully he doesn't make my skin into some sort of apparatus he wears around his face. I'll even stay with you. All you have to do is download the Radio Vegas Rocks app and register under the VIP tab of the app to win.
Download the Radio Vegas Rocks app right now.
Hello, everybody. This is DJ Fade from Faded and Elevated, and I am so excited to talk to you guys about Deluxe Cleaning Service. Yeah, that's right. Miss Blanca Lopez, she is the cat's meow, y'all. She comes to your house. She comes to your office. She comes wherever you need her to go, and she cleans that sucker up like it's never been cleaned before. Yeah, that's right. She will come absolutely anywhere. Wherever you need her, she's there to keep you clean and the deluxe way.
Remember in the beginning, when you first started to build a life for you and your family, you never imagined it would come to this. Instead of living your dreams, you're living with debt. In fact, it's smothering you. Now there's a way you can take back control with one simple call. If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, you qualify to receive a free, no-obligation consultation on how to get rid of that debt for good. Call the Debt Helpline now. We work on your behalf to reduce your debt. We specialize in credit cards, retail store cards, and medical bills. One simple call is all it takes to get the ball rolling to a debt-free life. Stop living with debt and start living your dreams. Call the Debt Helpline now.
800-709-4389. 800-709-4389. 800-709-4389. That's 800-709-4389.
Have you been thinking about taking an Alaskan vacation? Well, now you can book an Alaskan cruise tour with YMT Vacations and immediately save $250 per person. Call YMT Vacations today. We've been helping people take the vacation of a lifetime for over 50 years. And right now, if you've been thinking about what it would be like to go on an Alaskan cruise, now with our $250 per person instant rebate is the perfect time. Call right now for details. And if Alaska isn't on your bucket list, we've got over 50 guided tours to different locations worldwide. Call right now for your free brochure. So if you're looking for the perfect cruise tour to Alaska or the perfect guided vacation package, you need to call YMT Vacations to book right now or for our free brochure.
800-213-9256. 800-213-9256. 800-213-9256. That's 800-213-9256.
3939 Spring Mountain Road in the heart of Chinatown is where you're going to find the Golden Tiki. Can't miss it. The sign is ginormous. That's where you need to go, though. Golden Tiki is the premier tiki destination in Las Vegas, and in fact, the world. It's being rated top tiki bar by many different travel websites and agencies. Articles coming out constantly about the Golden Tiki. So what makes them great? Well, let's just start with the front door. As soon as you walk in, you're taken away to a magical tropical paradise. Walk in, and there you go. The music is always pumping in that place. Live music, DJs. The drinks are cold. You can get some Dole Whip. You can get specialty cocktails any night of the week. And let's talk about the slot machines. You feeling lucky? Well, you should, because the slot machines down there are always hot. And 3939 Spring Mountain Road in the heart of Chinatown is where you're going to find the Golden Tiki.
Viva Ska Radio, hosted by Junior Ska Boss and Selector Scream. Live Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. to midnight. Best ska, punk, two-tone, reggae. Tune in to RadioVegas.rocks to get your weekly dose of good music. Where Vegas goes to rock.
Yeah, and we're back. It's Greasy Conversation, the talk show on RadioVegas.rocks. Be sure to mention RadioVegas.rocks to those sponsors.
Yeah. So.
Wait, it's time for asteroid time.
Yeah, that's the appropriate sound. Turns out, recently, and we got a surprise asteroid.
Surprise asteroid.
It just kind of snuck up on us and passed very close to Earth. I think it was described as like it would have been a city killer. Maybe it was that big.
Yeah, it's a definite city killer.
Oh, go ahead.
It's ironic that this is right after we just had that simulation. Just a couple months ago, NASA was working with space agencies around the world, especially the European Space Agency, to simulate what the world would do if there was an asteroid coming for us and how we would look out for it. And this one just blew right past us.
Yeah, so this one was estimated to be between 187 to 427 feet. And it was as close as 45,000 miles, which sounds really far, but that's less than 1/5 of the distance to the moon from the Earth. So it's pretty fucking close. Yeah.
Closer than our moon.
And the fact that it just like snuck up on astronomers, like...
Yeah, when we were like actively simulating what we'd do and how we'd look out for these things. Apparently, a lot of that hasn't been taken fully into action.
And there's like hella people, but there's just so much shit in space that it's bound to happen sooner or later, folks.
Yeah.
Gotta prepare. Gotta start stocking your house with canned goods. And, you know, if there's a zombie invasion, to be prepared for that as well. So, you know.
Well, I feel like it could be a unifying, aspect. Like,
that's a good point.
Like, well, it depends on where it hits. If it hits a rural area in, like, say, America, China, or Russia, maybe like the humanitarian aid would show us that we don't really have to all be enemies or whatnot. But if it hits like a densely populated a country like say Dhaka or a city like Dhaka in Bangladesh, you have 8 million people that are going to be wiped off the face of the earth, and that as much culture, as much history, just completely gone. And
it's one city that's the size, like population-wise, of what, like 3 Americas?
I mean,
I have that mixed up.
It
would be like 3 Southern Nevadas, huh?
Yeah, imagine that and all that music, that such a brilliant culture such as that losing its main city, its capital. You never know, what could hit. It could hit Tokyo. It could hit or it could just land in the ocean, cause a tidal wave. There's not really a good scenario, but. Maybe the, quote-unquote common enemy of, the realities of, what it is to be traveling through space, might unify us.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I always wanted, being kind of a Star Trek fan, I always wondered, how they got people to sign up to, be in Star Trek, right? To be, on those ships, right? Because by now, everyone knows... that space is the fucking scariest place ever.
Yeah.
Bad shit happens all the time. It takes a fucking micro pebble, a grain of sand traveling at near the speed of light to go through one of our shuttles, and it's destroyed. Just all this random ass shit that you have no control.
So fast.
Yeah. You're just scary as fuck, man. Space is fucking scary. But
you still have people lining up to go to Mars on a mission where they wouldn't return.
Well, if it's just interesting to think how much speed affects the, potential destructive potential.
Yeah.
Of
so much potential energy.
That asteroid, if it was just dropped onto Earth at 9.8 meters per second, it wouldn't cause an explosion, but
no, it'd just be a bus hitting the ground.
Yeah, but whenever, but now that's being propelled at however fast it is, probably some astronomical number, it turns it into, even though it doesn't have any warheads or nuclear capabilities, it turns it into something more powerful than a nuclear bomb. Just the amount of energy it's traveling with.
Smacking atoms together so hard with just the impact.
Yeah, and then the equal and opposite reaction of the Earth doesn't bode well in our favor.
And we're flying around the sun so fast, we could just fly into something stationary with that kind of speed.
I know, and it would be devastating.
Yeah.
Well, have you guys seen the simulation, not only of how fat or how close this asteroid came to impacting us? It's mind-numbing, how close it was in this simulation, but go on. Sorry.
No. I was on the scale, it seems really far. It seems really, you're talking about 45,000 miles or whatever, and you're like, oh man, that you could drive around the Earth how many times? But on the scale of space, it's a near miss. It's if someone shot a gun and it went, past your ear or something. It's pretty fucking close.
Well, and like there's the it's this GIF image I like. It shows like more how like what our solar system looks like traveling through space, because people like imagine the still setting with the sun being in the center, and like planets just revolving around. When in reality, it's the sun's traveling extremely fast.
Everything's
And
moving.
everything's moving around it, like caught in the orbit. And like like what we were talking about earlier, in 2050 we're supposed to enter a very intense like asteroid or a period where we're likely going to face several asteroids hitting. Like
which is probably like more normal, because in the early development of the universe, and because humans haven't been around that long, we're like, oh, we haven't been hit by, Earth hasn't been hit by an asteroid, but Earth used to get fucking hit by asteroids all the time. Everything did.
And then look at the surface of the moon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, it's gonna happen eventually, probably while we still exist. But I mean, I do hope we can prevent it. There's definitely people looking for ways to prevent that. One of the ways is sending out. You would think, because we had all those movies growing up, like Armageddon and Deep Impact, and it's like, how do you stop it? You got to send a team of oil riggers out there to drill into the center of the asteroid and blow it up with a nuke. But actually, you can just send out like a tiny little spaceship compared to the asteroid, and it can just wiggle by manipulating the gravity.
Course,
just like a little bit, just eventually veer it off course, because you only need to bump it a little bit, a couple of degrees, for it to miss Earth. So that's a really promising way, but I think it's...
Well, even like the technology from the 70s, I can't remember the name of the particular orbiter or whatnot that went
Cassini,
to Saturn.
maybe?
Cassini, that's what I'm thinking. They're using dated technologies from the 70s to make these micro propulsions to like, move this craft around from millions of miles away. Like using dated technology and like so it's definitely possible, like to save ourselves from the asteroids, but we just have to actually recognize that as the primary threat to humanity instead of people from other countries.
For
imaginary
sure.
borders and such.
And another thing is in this article they mentioned that it's also the size of the asteroid, because like a massive like planet killer, like what we imagine is like just a massive asteroid, would be easier to detect, but there are smaller asteroids that would definitely cause a lot of havoc on Earth if it hit any populated area, but are just small enough to not really be noticed that well by astronomers. So there's definitely a fine line there, but there's hella people that dedicate their lives to like finding these things. So hopefully,
Hey, you got me thinking about, and I brought this up on camera, the little chunk that you found about how the Milky Way is warped. That's pretty cool looking and worth checking out in the news notes here. And I've been playing some video of it while you were talking about.
Oh yeah, nice. Time. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of stuff that's worth looking into if you're affected by it, and a powerful headline, but I don't have like a ton to say on it. There's that Capital One joining the data breach club. It's another major corporation that got silly with our data.
Yeah, I think they got hacked, it seems like, is what they're saying, but who knows? I mean,
that's what they're saying.
But that could mean any, like,
we were hacked by our vendor
because we don't enact like great security protocols. So
our policies were exploited, so we're calling it a hack.
Yeah. So, and this is my thing. Like, all right, everyone, just give your information to everyone else. Everyone has everyone's information. And then if anyone says anything about it, fuck you.
Just radical privacy dissolution?
Yeah, just fuck it, man. I mean, if all the bad people have everyone's information, just give everyone's information. And it like doesn't have any power.
It's like hide it in plain sight, but you can't make any decisions with that. everything's two-factor auth.
Apparently, all you have to do to receive like a settlement from like I think it's Equifax.
Yeah, it's the Equifax settlement.
Yeah, like they are now just basically admitting guilt by offering like a small amount of money to anyone who.
Yeah, we talked about
wants
that
it.
last week. It's $250 that you can qualify for, and I signed up for it. I qualified. You can find out on this third-party site, but you want to look it up with the FCC, I think it is.
FTC.
FTC.
Yeah, I actually was thinking about that because I misspoke last week. I kept saying the FCC, but it's actually the FTC.
Good
as far as the
retraction.
government.
But that's in our notes from last week, and check it out. Some people are already naysaying that you probably won't end up getting your settlement. I think that's, I'd like to think I eventually would, and that people eventually will, since justice has been trucking along so far with Equifax and the fines and punishments on them for being so sloppy with data that they don't even share with the own people that it's on. They take data on you. They don't ask for your permission. Equifax isn't something any of us volunteered to be kept data on.
I don't think it's justice. Like whenever someone fucks you over, like, and then they make minimal efforts to like bring it back to neutral. That's not neutral. They actively fucked you over. They actively sold or lost your data. They actively surveillanced you.
And you
like,
can get a lot more if you have paperwork on money that you've lost due to theft, due to this data breach. You can qualify for more.
Yeah, but even that, like, I feel like we give just such a pass. Like the giant corporations are so in bed with the government that it's like these like fines they get are fucking laughable to the amount of money they bring in over the course of a year. It's like, okay, yeah, who cares?
For sure.
Like, oh, I got to pay a couple $1 million fine.
Yeah.
Oh no. As a company, we only make like $10 to $15 billion a year. It's not that much, but still, it's ridiculous.
For instance, like there's places that still haven't paid me, like MGM, people with MGM, and like there's this one spot. Their name's Alexa's Bar. It's on the Strip. It's at Paris. They sit there on that bar that you pass, and there's people eating outside. They owe me $375. Whenever they pay me that, we're still not neutral because that was what I was owed, and that was a year ago, but they still have not paid me. So when they do pay me, and they will, I will, make sure it happens. I'm still going to like tell everyone that they. Well, I'm still going to tell everyone that they,
they
fucked with
deal
me
with their vendors that way, yeah.
Because them fulfilling their original agreement is not making it equal. Like. They still
after that much time.
The agreement had a timeline, and they didn't fulfill that.
So it's just like, no, when you fuck someone over, like making it right, like making it just right is still not equal. Like
I don't get how these casinos can get away with like 1 month billing cycles and stuff. They just take their sweet time.
Actually,
with
like
vendors.
a lot of them have like net 90 agreements.
Oh god.
So it's like.
So it's like, we'll wear you out, see if you forget about it.
That's a lot of their goals. And, like, a lot of them have revolving door management and, like, several LLCs between, you and the promoter that booked you. So
it's like a whole ladder to even find someone accountable for the agreement.
Exactly.
Man.
And the GM, like, for Alexa's Bar straight up told me they wouldn't tell me the address of their corporate office.
Yo,
that's so shady.
Fucked,
I know. Like, so I had to ask one of their cooks.
So many fucking layers of like just denying like anyone having any responsibility for anything.
It's just like,
it's fucking ridiculous, dude.
That's this disbanded LLC who, was ran by this person who's since been let go.
And then they just open another LLC that takes over and anything obligated by the old LLC. Yeah. Just fucking stupid, man. Fucking dumb. All right, let's move on to something. Maybe
we got one more chug.
All right,
we got one quick news thing.
This one, did you guys used to rock? Well, you said you didn't. You may not have been here for the old school Wet and Wild, but we do have the new Wet and Wild that opened after quite a few years after the old one closed down. It's over on it's way like southwest Durango and something. I can't remember exactly where, but. I think Durango and Fort Apache. But there was apparently some like high school night. It was called High School Neon Night. And at the end of this, just a giant high school brawl erupted that had to be broken up by the cops. The fucking Wet and Wild, man. You're all like going down slides in the water
Yeah,
and like
what's
chilling
the
in the
fight
lazy
about?
river, and then you're all just gonna fucking start brawling,
Yeah, like if they're in high school, alcohol isn't even in the equation. Like, why are you fighting? Like,
right? And it's
Well,
like a pain in the ass to like who's
shouldn't
gonna
be.
sneak alcohol into When Wild? It's like it's just whatever, man. I mean, I guess if you gotta fight, just go out to the desert and do it, and like have an agreement, and you all shake hands afterwards, and fucking have a beer when you're 21.
Yeah, it
go
sounds
back
like
to class.
It sounds like it would have been like something that was carried into the or like premeditated like beef that like.
There were just like two groups. Maybe it was like two rival schools, and they're like, "Yeah, we're just gonna declare our turf war in this Wet and Wild." Like, fuck these slides. Fuck your slides. No one's riding slides right now.
Did it
Fucking
end up
shit
on World Star?
I don't know yet.
Well, check it out on World Star, you guys.
Yeah.
Holla.
I'm sure there are some videos on World Star of the high school Wet and Wild fight.
Yeah.
Fucking World Star, man.
Did you have any more must-haves before? Oh, I have to mention R.I.P. YouTuber Grant Thompson. You really, really owe it to yourself to check out The King of Random, which is a YouTube channel that I've loved for a long time. And fortunately, before his super untimely death in his 30s, he's only 38, so he was right in our pocket. This is a peer. I could only hope to refer to him as a peer. But Grant Thompson started this channel called King of Random, and it's really fun for like garage science experiments and making weird material like this moon putty stuff that like feels like a putty and then turns into a liquid, and blowing stuff up,
Wow, that
and
sounds
just
really cool.
really fun backyard science messing around. But he also got a couple of friends helping him make videos. And I know this is a channel that's going to perpetuate and maybe even blossom and get even better in the aftermath of this tragedy with the cool format that he built and this channel that he built. So one way to remember and honor this person is to check out and stay in tune with what he made as a channel and how his other hosts are going to trudge on in the aftermath. So, R.I.P. Grant Thompson. And also... Sojourner,
peace,
I want to know if you've got any plugs before we take off. It's plug hour.
I mean, like, me and Ted and Jonah.
Turbo Ted.
And Jonah.
And it's Terbo Ted.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, it's not TUR. It's TERBOTED. Turbo Ted. Look him up.
Yeah, and we're joined by the drummer from Dead Money, Jonah Schulman. Like, we're recording the studio at the Palms next week, Wednesday. So, we're, working on an album there, finishing up.
What's it going to be published under, artist-wise?
The ensemble name is DJ Dad Shirt, based on some offhand, comedic reference. Like,
I've been hearing hype about DJ Dad Shirt, too, especially around Rebar.
Yeah, we're doing that. We play at Rebar every Saturday, and then you can catch Dead Money on Friday. Aside from that, I've been taking kind of easy from my, own musical projects, but still
having some fortification time.
Yeah. I still do my shows, but right now, I'm pretty focused on this, project that we're working on there.
Yeah, DJ Dad Shirt and also Dead Money. Very worth checking out his takeaways here. So. Anything you have to remain, Greg?
I think that's it, man. We're ready to close it out.
That's it. Oh, wait. We send it off this way. This is how
put her in the fucking furnace.
This is how we throw it in the fire. All right. Be good, everyone. Be excellent to each other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we're not clear yet. I gotta clear the...